Leading up to the 1900s, humanity had walked on land, sailed on the seas, but never flew in the sky. It was until two brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright, set out to do such a thing. The Wright brothers weren't great scientists who went exploring the field, they were bicycle shop owners. The life of the Wright brothers may not have directed them to performing such a feat, but it did help set them up for it. They performed experiments and worked hard to accomplish this great feat. Their names are remembered throughout history and the imprint they left on society. But first, let's understand the two brothers. Wilbur and Orville's parents played a key role in the brothers' future accomplishments. Milton, their father, had a strong character, was driven, and had high moral resolve. Their mother, Susan, was very mechanically intelligent and even studied literature at Hartsville College in Indiana. Both their parents were a part of the Church of United Brethren, where Milton was very actively involved, so far as to be a part of the leadership there. This background led them to teach their 5 children, 7, including Otis and Ida, twins who died in infancy, that the world isn't safe. To put it more accurately, that unscrupulous persons lay in wait and temptations beckoned. They were convinced family was the strongest form of support. Quote, the emotional anchor provided by their strong family often helped Wilbur and Orville keep going when they ran into difficulties with their research. End quote. The two brothers were similar in the fact that they were both very intelligent. However, both provided different personalities crucial to their chemistry. Wilbur, the older brother, was the more lonesome, self-involved type. He had always been very confident and forward-facing until his mother died in 1889 due to tuberculosis. After his face was injured at 18 while playing hockey, his face and teeth had healed, but he still had heart and digestive issues. After these times, Wilbur became more solitary, spending a lot of time in his father's extensive library where he furthered his education and writing skills. Orville was the more optimistic brother, very impulsive and contemplative, not to mention curious and energetic. From a young age, Orville showed an interest in technology. He was bright but mischievous in the classroom. As he matured and his work ethic improved, he took advanced preparatory classes in high school, but he also never graduated from high school, skipping his senior year. Orville was the model inventor, bright and enthusiastic, except he didn't always give his best efforts. This helped him and his brother keep tackling different situations. Their family and individual personalities laid the foundation for the work soon to come. On May 30th, 1899, Wilbur wrote to the Smithsonian claiming human flight was possible. The Smithsonian gave Wilbur any research materials they had on the subject, allowing them to learn from prior experiments. And that's exactly what they did. They learned from Otto Lilienthal, who had performed a series of experiments in the 19th century. They also drafted 3 categories to work on. 1, a set of surfaces or wings. 2, a method of balancing and controlling the aircraft. And 3, a means of propulsion. In 1899, the Wright brothers believed they could make an unstable plane controllable or stable. They based this off their background with bikes, as they are unstable but made stable by the controls. They created the 1899 kite, being the first in a series of planes they would create and test. This model can be attributed to the wing warping concept, tackling the first of their 3 categories. Wing warping is the idea of forming the structure of the plane's wings to better suit it for lateral control. In this model, it had a 5-foot wingspan, and the operator used 4 sticks to control the front and rear struts. Additionally, there are no photos of the original 1899 kite. Wilbur and Orville needed a way to test their ideas and get results from them easily. This led them to create the Wright wind tunnel. They first created a smaller one and then a bigger one in 1901. Using balances, they could measure the forces of lift and drag on the airplanes. This information was essential for creating the 1903 airplane. Then, they sought out to find a means of propulsion, the last of the 3 categories. Wilbur and Orville had been in contact with 10 different gas engine manufacturing companies about creating an engine suitable for a plane. None of the companies, however, could create an engine that could suffice the weight and power requirements, so they built their own. After hiring Charlie Taylor, a mechanic they hired in 1901, they had him help with the design of the engine. Getting it done in 6 weeks, he tested it on February 12, 1903. Using this new propulsion system, the Wright brothers managed to create their 3rd powered airplane, the 1905 Flyer. Seeing success when Wilbur got a flight time of 39 minutes, circling a field at Huffman Prairie 30 times, and with a total of distance of 21.5 miles, the Wright brothers had a practical airplane. But the work they poured into the study of aeronautics had impacts well beyond just commercial flights or transportation. For starters, the military proved important buyers of Wilbur and Orville's airplane. In 1908, the military purchased their first airplane for $30,000. Airplanes were then proven fit for naval operations on November 14, 1910, when Eugene Ely made the first airplane takeoff from the USS Birmingham. Just before World War I, European countries started investing in aviation more than the U.S., according to total expenditures on aviation 1908 to 1913. During World War I, airplanes were rare but not unheard of, and ended up showing their potential military value. Now, airplanes and aircraft are common tools used by militaries, changing modern military operations significantly. NASA also corroborates their impact on society. According to 115 years ago, Wright brothers make history at Kitty Hawk. In the article, it is explained that within a decade of the Wright brothers' first powered flight, the U.S. government created the National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics, NACA. The goal of NACA was to advance the field of aeronautics. However, in 1958, the Soviets made significant strides in space flight, causing the U.S. to respond by establishing the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, effectively replacing NACA. 65 years later, Apollo 14 honors Wilbur and Orville by naming their lunar module Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk was the beach where the Wright brothers did major testing on their airplanes. The Wright brothers also affected what was effectively their hometown, Dayton, Ohio. Sourced from the Wright brothers' legacy in Dayton by the Flyer News, the Wright brothers not only impacted the history of Dayton, but the modern-day aspects of Dayton as well. For instance, the nickname for the University of Dayton, Flyers, was spawned directly from the work of Wilbur and Orville Wright. Additionally, in the article, Dr. Janet Bednarek, professor of aviation at UD, stated that the work accomplished by the Wright brothers affects Dayton's economy and university research. Quote, "That is so crucial to the Dayton economy. Our strong engineering programs here, our strong research institute, all that really kind of traces back to the Wright brothers." End quote. So, in conclusion, coupled with the brothers' inherent differences, their parents' values instilled in their family aided them in having the virtues necessary to carry on. Working hard to make their dream a reality, Wilbur and Orville had to create, design, test, and revise many experiments in airplanes to succeed. Due to the success of the Wright brothers, society has had lasting implications all the way from space and even down to city levels. Even though the two brothers had different ideas of what they wanted their lives to look like, they did something nobody expected. And thanks to them, humanity has the ability to fly high in the skies.